the reason most international trade and import-export businesses fail has nothing to do with products, pricing, logistics, customs, or documentation. They fail because they start by looking for buyers. Most aspiring traders spend months attending trade shows, buying buyer databases, sending cold emails, scraping LinkedIn, and chasing people who were never going to buy anything from them in the first place. And the worst part, most of them don't even realize they're solving the wrong problem. Most people think international trade starts with a product. It doesn't. International trade starts with a conversation. More specifically, a conversation with somebody who has a painful enough problem that they're actively looking for a solution. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why most traders search for the wrong people, how to identify what I call problem owners, how to conduct research conversations that uncover real demand, and how to find opportunities that can later become profitable international trade deals. My name is Mark Gazki. I'm the Managing Director of Gazki Limited. Since 2012, we've been building and managing international trade flows of physical industrial products and professional business services across more than 25 countries around the world. And after more than a decade in international trade, I've become convinced of one thing. The biggest opportunities rarely come from having the best product. They come from understanding somebody's problem before everyone else does. Now, if you've watched my previous video, you've already heard me talk about starting with industries where you have existing relationships and trust. This video is the next step. Today, we're going to discuss how to systematically uncover problems worth solving. We'll talk about how to find the right people, how to conduct research conversations, and how to identify recurring patterns that can later become scalable business opportunities. And at the end, I'll show you the mistake that causes most aspiring traders to spend years in chasing opportunities that were never real in the first place. One of the biggest lies in international trade is the idea that if you can just find enough buyers, everything else will take care of itself. That's why people spend months buying buyer databases, attending trade shows, sending cold emails, scraping LinkedIn, searching import-export directories, running outreach campaigns, and collecting contacts. But here's the problem. None of those activities tell you whether somebody actually has a problem worth solving. And without a problem, there's no deal. I recently conducted dozens of research interviews with people trying to build international trade businesses, and I kept hearing the same thing. I found suppliers, but I cannot find buyers. I can source almost anything, but nobody's responding. I have hundreds of contacts, but no actual business. Sound familiar? The problem is not that these people lack products. The problem is that they are starting from the wrong side. They're searching for customers when they should be searching for problems. Trade shows won't save you. Buyer databases won't save you. AI won't save you, because none of those tools answer the most important question: who has a painful problem worth solving? So what exactly is a problem owner? A problem owner is somebody whose performance is directly affected by an inefficiency, bottleneck, delay, risk, cost increase, supply disruption, quality issue, or sourcing challenge. In other words, someone whose key performance indicators, KPIs, suffer because a problem exists. It could be a procurement manager, a warehouse manager, an operations manager, a plant manager, an engineering manager, a commercial director, or someone else entirely. The title is not important. The problem is. The key question is who experiences the pain and who has the authority to do something about it. Sometimes it's the same person, sometimes it's two different people. Both are worth speaking to because both see a different part of reality. And your goal is not to sell them anything. Your goal is to understand their world. Let me give you a real example from our own business. Several years ago, we worked with a manufacturer of tooling used in pipe production machinery, and we made a very common mistake. We looked at the Ukrainian market and saw that pipe manufacturers were buying these tools. Then we made an assumption. We thought, if Ukrainian manufacturers are buying this product, then manufacturers in Europe and the United States will probably want it too. Sounds logical, right? But it was completely wrong. We started contacting potential customers, presenting specifications, explaining features, sending offers, trying to generate interest, and very little happened. Why? because we never started by understanding their problems. We arrived with answers before we understood the questions. We assumed demand existed, but never validated it, and that project never became what we hoped it would become. Now compare that to another project of ours. A few years later, we started working with a very specific grade of tool steel sourced from India. This time, the process was completely different. Before discussing products, we understood exactly what our potential buyers were already purchasing. We understood what alternatives existed. We understood their frustrations regarding cost, their frustrations regarding lead times, their frustrations regarding quality. We understood exactly where the gaps were. Only then did we build the trade flow. The difference wasn't the product. The difference was understanding the problem before proposing the solution. And that's a lesson I wish someone had taught me 14 years ago. Now let's talk about how you actually do this. Step 1 is surprisingly simple. Start with what you already know. Most people choose industries based on excitement, on trends, or profit margins, or whatever product appears attractive. I think that's backwards. Instead, ask yourself, what industries do I understand? What products have I already worked with? Where do I already have experience? Where do I already know people? Where do I understand how decisions are made? Where do I have credibility? Because each of those things increases your chances of having meaningful conversations. And meaningful conversations are where opportunities come from. Not products, not databases, not assumptions. Conversations. Once you've selected your area of focus, your next job is not finding buyers. Your next job is finding people. Notice the difference? Not leads, not prospects, not contacts. People, human beings who live with real problems every day. And there are many places to find them. LinkedIn, industry communities, trade associations, suppliers, customers, distributors, industry events, professional groups, warm introductions. The channel itself doesn't matter. The conversation does. Most people use LinkedIn to pitch. I use LinkedIn to learn. When I see somebody discussing procurement issues, supply chain risks, quality concerns, sourcing challenges, inventory problems, production bottlenecks, or supplier dependency, I become interested. Not because I want to sell something, because I want to understand something. That's a completely different mindset. This is where most opportunities are discovered, not during sales calls, during research conversations. And this is where most people fail because they cannot resist pitching. They ask one question, then immediately start explaining the product. Don't do that. The purpose of the conversation is not to convince. The purpose is not to sell. The purpose is not to demonstrate expertise. The purpose is to understand. Ask questions. What's frustrating you? What's slowing you down? What's difficult to source? What's creating risk? What's causing delays? What have you already tried? What is the cost of not solving this? What would a perfect solution look like? Then stop talking. Listen carefully. Most people arrive with answers. Arrive with curiosity instead. One of the strongest patterns I noticed during my research interviews was this. Many aspiring traders believe they have a sourcing problem. But when they talk openly, it turns out they actually have a demand problem. They can source products, they can find suppliers. What they cannot find is a painful enough problem that somebody's willing to pay to solve. That's a completely different challenge. This is where most people go wrong. They have one interesting conversation and immediately decide that they found a business. No, you haven't found a business. You found a clue. Now you need evidence. Speak to 10 people, then 20, then 30. Look for patterns. Do the same problems appear repeatedly? Do people describe them using similar language? Do they sound urgent? Are companies already spending money trying to solve them? Are the consequences measurable? Because if the answer is yes, something interesting is happening. You're no longer looking at one person's opinion. You're looking at demand. Most traders collect contacts. The best traders collect evidence. And evidence comes from patterns, not assumptions. Only now should you start thinking about solutions. Not before, after. Once you understand who has the problem, how expensive the problem is, how often it occurs, and how many people experience it. Then you can start designing solutions. Maybe it's a product, maybe it's sourcing, maybe it's logistics, maybe it's financing, maybe it's contract manufacturing, maybe it's something entirely different. The solution is not where the process starts, the problem is. And that's why I believe international trade does not start with a product. It always starts with a conversation. Now let's quickly recap. In this video, we discussed why searching for buyers is often the wrong starting point, what a problem owner actually is, how to identify your area of advantage, how to find the right people, how to conduct research conversations, how to identify recurring patterns, and how to build solutions around real demand instead of assumptions. And one final thing. At the moment, I'm conducting research to better understand the challenges entrepreneurs face when launching and growing international trade businesses. If you're currently trying to build an import-export business, find buyers, validate demand, execute, or scale international trade deals, I'd genuinely be interested to hear your perspective. You'll find my contact details below this video. This is purely for research purposes. And if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for being with us, and I'll see you in the next video.